Okay. My name's Heather Freudenthal, and I have a story to tell with a happy. Do you want like more introduction or just right into the story?
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Okay.
Okay. So my name is Heather Freudenthal. So my story isn't something too specific. It's more of an ongoing thing that happened in my family, which in the family that I grew up in, my grandmother, my mother's mother, was not the most polite person, and she used to regularly let my mom know how disapproving she was of her choice in marriage. So she would regularly tell my mom how terrible my dad was and how she made a mistake marrying him. But by the way, just for reference, my parents have been happily married for like over 35 years. So, sorry, Grandma. But anyway, she used to regularly do this, and as you can imagine, this was very hurtful to my mother. Very, very hurtful.
Not to mention your dad.
And not to mention my dad. Right, exactly. So, anyway, so as a result, in my family, we developed this saying that goes, it's better to be wise than correct. And the mentality behind that is sometimes you are literally correct in what you think and what you know, but sometimes the smarter thing to do is to just zip it. So oftentimes, I'm a very strong-willed person, so oftentimes when I get into fights with people and I don't back down, a lot of times my mom will say to me, Heather, you're being correct, not smart. If you want to preserve a relationship with this person, you need to think about apologizing or talking to them differently and things like that. So that's something I always take with me.
Can you tell us the last time you decided to be wise even though you were correct?
Yeah, actually, I got into an argument with my very good friend Ian, who I used to work with, over a personal matter, which it turned ugly very quickly because we're both very strong-willed people, and we were both bringing in our equal amounts of baggage to the situation, and we got into a huge fight and didn't speak for a week. But what made me call him to apologize was not because I felt that I was in the wrong. I still very firmly to this day believe that my arguments in that, my case in that particular argument was strong and that I was right to feel what I felt and say what I said to him. But I perhaps didn't need to say it that harshly. I perhaps didn't need to say as much of it. I perhaps could have backed off. So my apology to him was more, I'm sorry we fought. I'm sorry if I upset you. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and not so much of a, I'm sorry I was totally wrong. But I did use that mentality because I went home and talked to my parents about the fight, and they said, Heather, do you care about this person? Is he your friend? And I said, yes, of course, I love him. And so they were like, okay, you need to think about apologizing, So that was my way of kind of coming to terms with, okay, I could sit here and hold my ground until he agrees that I was right, or I could just say, I love you, I miss talking to you, let's work it out.
Attention staff.